Hello and welcome to this video that shows you how to send an early alert from Shaw University. This is updated fall 2019. All right, so what is an early alert? An early alert is basically our way of letting the school know that we have a student who is in jeopardy or is struggling with any number of things. It could be academic, it could be personal, it could be, yeah, those things. All right, so basically what we're going to do is the way to get to the early alert form. One of the easiest ways is to just go to Moodle. So I haven't even logged into Moodle. Okay, and this is just me. Okay, if you just go to the Moodle main web page right here and you scroll down right here, there is it right there. Additional resources, early alert. So this is how you can access the early alert thing. It's right there. So we're going to click on that, and that opens up this page. Now you need to get some information. You need the student's last name, student's first name, anything you see where it has like this little red asterisk is required information. You're like, well, wait a minute, where do I get this? Student ID number? Or where do I get their email address? I don't know their email address. Well, yes, you do, and I'll show you where to get this information. So it's going to ask for some information up front. Are they a first year student? What their major is? Okay, and you're like, how am I supposed to know this stuff? Well, you actually have access to that through BearsNet. So if we go back to the main web page here, right here, we're on a web page, and here's BearsNet. So if you click on BearsNet, actually I'm already logged in. I'm going to log in again. I think I'm already logged in. I am. Okay, so if you haven't logged in, you need to log in. Okay, so as a faculty member, you should have this faculty tab. And the login for BearsNet is the same login you use for Moodle. So it's the same. That's your username and it's your password. Same exact one. Okay, so faculty. So you're going to click on the faculty button up here, and then you're going to click on faculty home. Okay, now this is where I'm going to start going over to some slides because I've covered some information. So once you go to faculty home, it'll basically bring you to something that looks like this. Okay, and this will show you the classes that you're teaching down here. Okay, and so here's the classes that I was teaching. This is back in the spring. This is for giggles. Okay, so the class list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, once I've clicked on faculty, I click on faculty home, then it should bring up this list right here. Okay, again, faculty home. I have to click on that to get to this picture right here. Then this shows the classes that I'm teaching. From here, I can pull up a class list. Well, what do I get when I pull up a class list? Well, that's a good question. So let me go ahead and pull up that one. And again, I've blocked out information here, so we're not showing any student information. When you pull up the class list, this shows the course that you're in, and it shows the information of how many students. So it has the students' names listed here. Okay, it has their IDs listed here, and then we'll get to the email here in just a second. Okay, but it has their advisor. I've blocked those out for giggles. It shows their major and also what class they're in, freshman, sophomore, whatever. So when you go back to the early alert system, their student's last name is like, oh, what is their last name? Well, again, it's just, you can just copy it from here. Okay, because it lists their name. You can just copy that and you can paste it if they've got a really hard to spell last name. Same thing with their first name. Student ID number. Again, very simple. You just go to the student ID number, copy that, and paste it into there. Student's email address. Okay, now this is where it gets a little trickier because it doesn't show their student's email address on this particular screen. But to get to their email address, you click on the icon. So for this student, I would click on that email address. For this student right here, I would click on that email icon. Now what happens, what do I see when I get to that? Well, let me pull up another screen here. So when I click on the email icon, then it pulls up this information and it says recipients, and it'll show their name, okay, and then it'll have their email address. So again, you can just copy and paste what's inside the parentheses, copy rather what's inside the parentheses, and then you would then put that as their student email address. Okay, so you can get all the information you need from BearsNet. First year, this is a first year in college. Okay, if you know for sure, again, if it says freshman, maybe, but just because they're a freshman doesn't mean it's their first year in college. So if you're not sure, click I don't know. But if you know, then yes. Their student's major, again, oh gosh, how do I know their major? How do I know that? Well, again, I'm going to pull this back up again. Again, in BearsNet, again, when you go back to the class list, you will see that it lists their major right there. So again, for this student right here on this line, that would be what their major is, and their class would be freshman, sophomore, junior. But again, just because they are a freshman doesn't necessarily mean they're a first year student. Most are. Okay, athlete, again, if you're not sure, don't know. Your name, go ahead and just type out your full name and your email address. You should know that, okay? Your relationship to the student, chances are, this is being sent to instructor, so it'd be professor, okay? Now, something they've done, they've added this year is that to tell what course they're in. So let's say they're in, let's go with, I don't know, Math 112, okay? So we just click on Math 112, boom, okay? But if their course is not listed here, because not all the courses are listed, but most of them are, okay? If a course is not listed, then you would just list it down here. So let's say it's like MDS 216 or something like that, okay? So if it's not listed up here, but if it is listed up here, then you can just, click the button, okay? And then we get to, okay, your level of concern. So again, this is really kind of a judgment call. Red is like, oh my gosh, they're, haven't seen them, stuff has fallen off the map, they're in jeopardy, or I just have some general concerns overall. Now, we have two lists here. We have the academic concerns and we have the non-academic concerns. So basically, let's say this student, they've come to class the first couple of times and they haven't been back since, they haven't returned any work. But I'd say that's, red high, and I'd say poor class attendance, risk of failing the course, little to no engagement in the course, incomplete work, anything that pertains to them, okay? That is why you are concerned with their issue, okay? And you can, again, add some more information. Again, came to the first class. They have not been back since, whatever, okay. Or if it's not necessarily an academic concern, again, let's say it's it's not an academic concern, then you'd click not applicable, because you do have to answer something because it's got the little red dot up there. So if it's a non-academic concern, let's say you've gotten to know this student, all of a sudden they start changing, they're really quiet, they used to be a really whatever, or they've opened up to you about things or whatever, okay, you can pass that on as well, so we can help them out. And again, if it's not applicable, not applicable, okay? And then what are some things that you've done? Well, let's say for that student who hasn't shown up to class, okay, well, then, I haven't really talked to them because they haven't been there, okay? Let's say in this case, I emailed the student and their advisor to say, hey, look, we haven't seen them. But again, you just kind of go through and pick whatever. And then the last thing that you have to require to do is, please, give them some ideas of what you think would be the most beneficial way to help them. And so you fill that out, and then any additional comments you want to do. Okay. So, and then you would hit submit and it would go off, okay? Now, this is very important that we do this for any students that we have concerns about, simply because it's easier to catch it early on. We have a lot of students who, not a lot, but we have some students, they're in college for the first time, they're struggling with all sorts of things, homesickness, it's a new world, they've never been out of their hometown before or whatever. And this is a chance for us to reach out and really kind of help them at the beginning. That's why it's an early alert, so that we can reach out to them, use the resources from the school to figure out the best way to get them the help they need so they can be successful. So that is how you do the early alert system. All right, now have fun doing it.